everybody. It is Rambling Hour with Lisa. We are live today, Easter Sunday, which is the 4th of April, 2021. And I am coming to you from my living room. And I might just bring in the... It's always hard to tell what the background's going to be exactly when I set it up, because it changes when I see. I just want those two shelves and some flowers around me is fine. But now, that's not going to work. You're just going to have to put up with this stuff beside me, like the TV and stuff. I'm moving it with my feet. All right, that's not good either. Yeah, whatever. That's good. How is everyone tonight? I brought in some of my plants from outside. It is weird because they look a bit different inside, and I don't know that all of them smell good necessarily, but it's my Easter theme, and I just thought it would look, Easterish. So because it's Easter Sunday, I'm not expecting to have a lot of viewers. People might watch at a later time or later date, which is fine with me, but I'm still going to do my... Actually, it's interesting because I had thought about not doing my Rambling Hour today, but at first I was thinking, something just feels like maybe not today, and then so I said I'd let it go. And I actually even, I don't know if you know, on Instagram and on Facebook, when I do the post letting you know that I'm going to be on in an hour or two, I even did one that said canceled, because I was going to post that just so people knew that I'd be canceled today. But I said, okay, if I meant to do this and not cancel it, then give me a sign. And then that's when I posted my daily affirmation for today, and it kind of just said, I can't remember what it said exactly, but it is basically that you're setting yourself up for what you want in the universe, and here's your chance, so go after it. And I thought, well, if me doing my lives is somehow a stepping stone to where I'm supposed to go with my life, then why would I not do my live? I need to do that. I need to take those opportunities and take those stepping stones when they're available. And to be honest, the only reason I wasn't going to do it was because I wanted to spend more time outside, and because I was being lazy to do the setup and everything. And I know you guys don't really care about the setup and stuff, but I care. So even this shirt, I thought it reminded me a bit of Ukrainian Easter eggs, and there's a lot of Ukrainian influence where I grew up on the prairies in Canada, so that's why I wore this shirt. Hi, Mommy. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to everybody else who's watching as well, whether you're watching live or you're watching later. It is a wonderful Easter Sunday. Again, it's a bit different of an Easter for a lot of us with COVID-19 and not getting together with lots of family and such. And for those of you who are following the rules and being smart about things, thank you. Thank you for staying safe and doing that. And for those of you who think you're above the rules and putting people at risk, shame on you. So, cheers. It's pop. It's not wine. If I drank as much wine as I drink pop, I would either be an alcoholic or non-functioning, especially because one glass of wine makes me and it makes me really tired too. So I mean, it's one glass makes me like that because I don't drink often. Aw, this little chick face is covered by this plant. There. So I hope everyone's having a good Easter weekend. The kids have found eggs and stuff. I thought when I did my Christmas Rambling Hour, I talked about Christmas traditions here in the UK and back in Canada when I was growing up and stuff. So I thought I would talk about some of the traditions of Easter here and when I was growing up. One of my favorite things to do around Easter time is paint Easter eggs. And we have these little tablets in Canada that you just drop into a cup of warm water and it dissolves. And then, so you have all your different colors, and you would drop an egg in. Say you had, because if you have white chicken eggs, and you put like an elastic around it, or some Scotch is a brand, right? Scotch tape, but I don't remember what the proper name for, they call it sellotape here, but you know, so if you put tape around it and then you drop it in, say blue, and then you take it out and then you take off the tape and then you drop it in yellow, then the blue part will turn green, and then the strip that wasn't painted before will be yellow. But so you can do lots of different designs and different things like that. Also there's, and I might be saying this wrong because it ends in a Y, it's not Pasanka, Pasanki. It's Ukrainian Easter egg painting, which is very intricate. I suggest that you look it up, Ukrainian Easter eggs, and it is done like, it's amazing. I've never tried it before, but I saw a friend posted today that she learned how to do it in grade 5 and always wanted to try doing it again and again with the with lots of Ukrainian influence on the prairies. So she tried again this year to do it, and I think that her eggs turned out well, but it's something that I'd like to try. So here, they don't really paint Easter eggs here, and it's hard to find white eggs, white chicken eggs. Most of the ones in the stores are brown, but they like, sort of like paper mache, and like they decorate eggs, but they're not usually real eggs, and they're not the way we do them in Canada. I remember years ago, when after I had kids, but before I moved here, and we were at my mom's house, my parents' house at the time, my dad was still alive, and we were painting Easter eggs, as was our tradition, even if we're adults. Even my mom painted some, and my cousin's husband, who was from Australia, had never painted Easter eggs, so he did that too. And it's just, no matter what age you are, it's fun doing the different designs. And to be honest, like, even if you use marker pens, like, you know, food safe marker pens and stuff on the eggs, and do different decorations and designs, and there's lots of ways to do it. Steve said, what do you do with eggs after, or I can't remember what he said, and I said, you eat them, and he's like, you eat raw eggs, and I'm like, no, sorry, you boil them, boiled eggs, and then you let them cool, and then you decorate them, and then you eat them the next day, or leave them out for the Easter bunny. But when you're doing Ukrainian Easter eggs, or if you're doing intricate Easter eggs that you want to keep, you do the little pinholes on the top and bottom, and then blow out the eggs and get all the egg out of it, and then you can keep them. I'm just going to read a comment that was from Samantha here. We would hard boil an egg, then when it was cool we would paint it. We'd have competitions at schools creating scenes. Oh, well, Samantha, that's really good to know, because as far as I see here, you guys don't decorate eggs, like real eggs, and I can't find any decorating kits or anything in stores, just regular stuff. But they do something interesting here, and it's called Easter bonnets, and it's like these, like, white, like, they're like, what is it, like a weaved hat? So, I guess a bonnet, but it's like a weaved white hat with a brim, and they decorate it with different, like, little chicks and flowers and different things, so they make Easter bonnets. And I know they have Easter bonnet competitions some places and stuff, and the girls have made Easter bonnets before as well. But the problem is, the reason I haven't encouraged them to do it each year is because what am I supposed to do with the bonnets after? I don't want to have a cupboard full of Easter bonnets. Like acrylic paints or watercolors, Samantha said no decorating kits, you just use normal paint. Is that something, Samantha, that you think that a lot of people did around here, or is that just your family who did that? But yeah, I've never painted the eggs with acrylic paints. Yeah, Samantha, if you want to, you can tell me that. She just asked if I want to know the background of the Easter bonnets. So if she types that up for me on there, I'll read out her comment, or you guys can read it, and then we'll know why they decorate Easter bonnets here. I can't think of any other. So because the weather is nice here, and I mean they might do this in other places in I think they do, like in Canada and America, like say in Vancouver, like in BC, and the nicer regions where the weather has already gotten nicer. I know even in Ontario that their spring starts earlier than on the prairies. But one of the things is hiding eggs. The Easter Bunny hides eggs outside as well here, and that's really fun. So for the last 2 years, because of lockdown, and I've helped the Easter Bunny in the house hiding eggs up and around the house, but outside, Owen has snuck back and helped the Easter Bunny hide them outside. And today, even though the girls are getting a bit older, Tom was at his nan's for a week, so he just got back today later in the afternoon, so he wasn't here for the Easter egg hunt, but he has still lots in his basket. But Owen and the Easter Bunny hid 90 eggs outside, so that's something that I like that they do here. But it's weather depending. And the other thing is, if it was sunny, the girls gave me one Kit Kat bunny that was all melted in the pack, so I put it in the fridge until it hardened. Well, it's still in the fridge now. But hi everyone who's watching. I'm really surprised that people are tuning in today. I thought Easter Sunday, I guess part of the thing is that we can't get together with our family, so even if you're having an Easter dinner tonight, or this afternoon for my Canadian friends, it's it's just your family at home, so maybe people aren't having as much to do today as I thought they would. But so I'm glad that I did do my live after all. And I will tell you the Easter bonnet story when Samantha tells me what it is. These eggs up here, they're really nice. They open this way, and they're from the girls' like biological dad, Michael. His mom, Diane, she gave those to the girls when they were little, and Diane has passed away, so when she was alive. And they're one of my favorite ornaments that I put out. I hang them from the ceiling sometimes, and they're just really cool. I do love these little things too. These actually, there's one up there as well, and they had plants in them. And I'm really good at killing house plants, so yeah, there's no plants in them anymore. But I just use some of the little stuffies that the kids have had from when they were little, and use them for Easter decorations, and I put them out every year. So I really like these, though I don't think you can see them, but they're egg shaped, and they got little speckles on them like a bird's egg. So what else is new? I know that the sign looks backwards right now, but when I do some screenshots of the live, I'll reverse it. But yeah, it says Happy Easter, but it's backwards. So I spent time in the garden today. Yesterday, me and Steve were in the garden as well, working together, and we finished chopping down the tree. We didn't chop it down. We used the chainsaw. He used a chainsaw. I don't want to injure myself. So, but we worked together, and it was nice to have him out in the garden. And there's still the big stump, like taller than me, because we don't want to, well, first of all, our chainsaw is just a small chainsaw, so it wouldn't get through. The stump is like, the girth is quite big, but we also don't know what we want to do with the wood yet, so we're going to wait for that. But today, Steve was outside and he painted 6 fence panels to put over by the train tracks and stuff there. And then, Happy Easter, Auntie Joan. And so he did that while outside, and I did a bunch of other gardening stuff and everything. So it was nice outside again today. And it's supposed to get cold though this week, which is like Arctic weather coming in, which is crazy, because one of these nights it's supposed to be -3 overnight, and maybe for people on the prairies, that's, you expect your last frost like about the 3rd week in May, which we call May long weekend, or before, like you don't plant your garden before May long weekend. But it's just so frustrating when you think you can take all your stuff out of the greenhouse or out of protection winter, and then you get those few frost days, and it's like, do I cover everything up? Do I move it back under cover? Or do I just leave it and risk it? So Samantha says, ladies would buy new clothes, hats for the start of spring, and at the end of Lent, for the start of spring and end of Lent, and show them off to each other. They would decorate them to make them pretty, and in the late 1800s, it turned into a parade for them to show them off, and because it was for Easter, it became known as the Easter bonnet. Very interesting. That's more fun if you did that. If everybody, like, if everybody wore their Easter bonnets and then like a little parade and you saw all these different cute hats and stuff, then I could see more putting effort into them and everything else. But yeah, again, especially this year, obviously that wouldn't happen. But that's a cool tradition. So the girls have decorated Easter bonnets 1 year, and I still have them. So that, I think that's enough. I don't even take them out at Easter. I should, though. I guess that's the point, right? Happy Easter, Erin. And yes, again, I hope everybody's doing well and having a good Easter. And I don't know who just put a little mad face on there. And I don't know if it's because I said I don't take out the Easter bonnets or what the mad face was for, but I was going to talk about traditions for Easter here and in Canada, and I can't think of any other ones that are really different. You know, having an Easter dinner is the same there and here, and getting together with family, and then obviously the Jesus, if you're Christian, the fact that it's the weekend that Jesus died and rose again, and died on Good Friday and then rose 3 days later. And yeah, what else do we do for Easter? Erin said, my mom said she did the fancy Easter with new dress and bonnet. And Erin's mom would be my auntie, who's also my godmother. So Erin, like on Easter, they would, well, because Erin's mom is really good at sewing and such. So I'm guessing she would make an outfit. Is that what you mean? Like fancy Easter with a new dress and bonnet. And then where would she go? What would she do when she dressed up? And who would she dress up with? Oh, was there an Easter parade? And my mom said yes. And again, I don't know what to. And Erin says, the mad face could have been me by accident. I got a new phone and still trying to learn how to work. That's funny. Yes, so what else? Still working out. Today is day, give me a second. So I think it's 19 or 20, no 20. So then that's day 240, I think. Yeah, something like that. So, they did parades and family gatherings, Erin says. So yes, so they dressed up, there you go. That's in Canada, in Alberta, up in the north in Grand Prairie. And, Erin says her mom used to dress up in a dress and Easter bonnet and do the parades. So I don't think I've ever gone to an Easter parade, not in my memory, but we did spend a lot of Easters, again, those holidays, Christmas and Easters, because it was more days off, or spring break, we would go up to Grand Prairie and spend our time with Erin and her family, my Auntie Darlene and Uncle Henry and such. So maybe I did go to East. I remember going to parades at their, right at the end of their street, a parade would go by, and I don't know if that was a summer parade or is that the... Erin says she remembers having Easter parades and we decorated our bikes. Erin, do you ever remember, I remember going to parades by your house, but was it Easter or was it a summer parade? It definitely wasn't winter, but I can't remember what it was, and I remember them throwing candy out. And Samantha said the parade started in Manhattan. Heard it on the radio today. So Manhattan is in New York, so okay. And Erin says they had summer parades too. I know that there was like Canada Day parades in Edmonton, like when I was growing up, but. And Erin says they were in time for the rodeo, which is the rodeo up in Grand Prairie. So yes, parades for everything. I remember having bike parades when we were kids too, but that was just for our community and decorating our bikes and such. What else? I was gonna say something. Let me think. Okay, so yes, still working out. What we had for supper today: chicken wraps. I haven't eaten yet, but everything is out still, so I'm gonna have them when I go into the kitchen. Samantha's asking if I watched the film Holiday Inn. No, I haven't even heard of it. So I'm not sure what it is. And it is different to be like a Sunday where, like, again, like a long weekend, or they call it a bank holiday here. So it's a Sunday and the kids don't have, well, they don't have school for 2 weeks because spring break, but they call it term break here. Spring term break, whatever. And, but yeah, so I don't have to do anything to get ready for anything tomorrow. Even, like, Steve not working tomorrow, so. The girls asked if Dad gets the whole 2 weeks off like they do, and I said, no. He had Friday off and he gets Monday off, but he has to go back to work. That's not how it works for adults, unless you're a teacher, and sometimes you'll get the holidays that the kids get, but not even all those days, because you might have to go in for things. So, but that was cute that they thought that their dad would have 2 weeks off as well. If you look up where the bears are, there's 2 right here and 2 right here. Those came in the post a couple days ago, and they hold a Cadbury cream egg inside of them, and they're little chicks that we got from Steve's dad, Pierce. He sent those for the grandkids. Okay, so the Holiday Inn is about all the different holidays throughout the year. At the inn, they call the Holiday Inn. Okay. Sounds like something I'd do. If I had an inn or a hotel or something, I would be celebrating every season and every holiday and decorating for them and doing all that crazy stuff. I had a lot more energy when I was younger. Like, how is it that I'm only in my 40s and even setting up something like this, I'm like, meh, do I really want to? Let alone, like, a whole inn or something. But so what else do you guys want to talk about? I will have to put these flowers back outside tomorrow because it has gotten dark already, as it is after 8 p.m. here. I noticed that the weather on the prairies looked pretty good and people got to be outside a bit the last few days, so that's nice for people in Canada that got to do some of the Easter stuff outside, whether it was decorating eggs or what was something else I saw people doing outside. I can't remember. It is really quiet here right now, which is crazy because we all know that there's loud kids that live here and that they are not in bed because they get to stay up later. And it's only after 8, so Erica is in the art cupboard. It's like this storage room above the stairs where I have all the art stuff, and she's hanging out in there. And Allison's in the office behind me, and Tom is in his room, and so I'm guessing Aurora is up in the girls' bedroom playing on the Xbox. And Steve has taken Lena for a walk. Mom said walking, and I don't remember what we were talking about, so I'm not sure what she's talking about. Walking outside with nice weather, that is true, and that's good. My sister sent me pictures that they had a fire in the garden, in the backyard. Well, in Canada we call them campfires, even if we're not camping, but even if we have them in our yard, we call them the fire pit, or, having a campfire. And here they call them bonfires, even if they're just small and in your garden or in a barrel. They still call them a bonfire. Or like Steve, if I come in, he'll say, "Yo, you smell like bonfire." And I say, "You smell like campfire smoke." But anyways, so my point was that at my mom's house, they had a fire, and my sister sent me pictures, her and her husband and their kids, and then I saw that my older sister was there as well, but they can social distance around the fire pit, so that it was nice weather. And Erin says Georgia is painting currently and enjoying the warmth and sunshine in Kelowna. And Samantha said Danielle did an Easter hunt at Kimberly's today, then got really sad when she had to leave. Yeah, again, Easter hunts and stuff like that, you can do social distancing and such. But and yes, so why I just made that face is I hurt a muscle right in here, and it's been really sore for a few weeks, and I'm trying to do my workouts around it and let it heal. And it is getting better, but sometimes it seems like if I sleep on my right side, it's, I don't know if I'm squishing myself or what, it's not doing well, but I can't put pressure on this hand like that, just pulled it a little bit. So anywho, what were we just talking about? Being outside, nice weather, painting. And Samantha said last night we had the chimney on, which was really nice to sit around. Oh yes, we were talking about campfires and having fires outside. And social distancing and visiting, and still it doesn't lead my brain anywhere. But that would be nice, Samantha. Was that at your house or at your mom's house? It will be nice to get back to normal, won't it? You have to use a propane fire pit due to the area we are in. No wood burning campfires, so the smell is different. Oh, interesting. Yes, there is a lot of fire restrictions in England as well, especially being a smaller area. So there is no burn zones and such. Luckily, I don't burn mine all the time, but a lot of people also have fireplaces in their house. So I love when I go outside and you smell the different wood in the air. Like you can smell somebody's burning wood, and it just smells yummy to me. But it is that thing, like even when I have a fire outside, I love the smell of it, and it reminds me of camping and everything else. But then when I come in and my hair smells like it and everything else, and your clothes, the next day when you smell your clothes, you're like, bleh. So I have to, the day I have a fire, I have to come in and have a shower and wash my hair so that I don't get the smell. Steve doesn't like the smell, being all in our bed or anything. So Samantha says, try taking aconite to help take the ache away. I'm trying homeopathic remedies, and they seem to be really helping me. That's good. That's cool. I try not to take painkillers for it either, especially if I'm going to be working out, because what I would hate is a painkiller to mask the pain and then me hurt it even worse. So it doesn't hurt just like sitting like this or anything. It's only if I put strain on it. So I'm just letting it heal. And when I do my weights, I might do the ones with this hand and just hold the weight in that hand, or depending on what I do, if it's even when I do this, if it pulls on that and I can feel it, then I won't do those weight things right now. I'll just hold the weight to my hand. But I'm working around the injury and letting it heal. I'm not doing my workouts. So, and it is weird that depending on what the workout is, some ways that I'm lifting the weight you won't feel it at all. So it's not doing that. And then other ones you're like, nope, can't do that because that's pulling and hurting. So, and these Easter cards up here, really cute and so weird, because how often do you get Easter cards? But this one came in the post, and it was from Steve's mom and stepdad, so Trisha and Chris, which was really sweet. And then a couple days later, with the little chicks, this one came from Steve's dad. So that was really nice. And from the grandparents for the kids, that they got these Easter cards. I can't wait to eat. I like food. I've eaten 2 chocolate eggs. So, out of the 90 eggs that Owen and the Easter Bunny hid outside, the kids found 82 of them. So they said there's 8 out there for me. And so far I found 5 of them. So there's still 3 somewhere outside. So we will see if and when I find those. One of them, and it is weird when I go to a pot to water a plant, and then shoot the hose at it, and then realize I'm spraying an egg, and oops. But at least it's just clean water. I know I should use rainwater, but it hasn't rained for a while, so some of my rain things are low or empty. I need to plant more gem corn too. I need to get in the greenhouse more, but as I've said in previous weeks, I don't want to plant too much, and I'm trying not to buy any plants because I'm trying to nurture and love what I have already. So, and I know I might overdo it with the tulip pictures, but the thing is that last year everything was growing great, and then we had these like weeks of really hot weather, and I kind of overwintered overwatered my bulbs and stuff, so a lot of my alliums and my tulips didn't bloom, and I didn't even know if I killed them, if they rotted, if I killed them. And so this year I'm trying not to water them at all, because I don't know how much you're supposed to water them. So I just think, okay, like even onions in the kitchen can last forever without any water, so I'm not watering them at all, and I'm just letting them bloom. And so many of the tulips that I had that should have bloomed last year, because not last year, but the year before, in the autumn, I went crazy with bulbs and planted so many of them. So last year I should have had this amazing display, but because I overwatered things, I didn't. So this year I'm going crazy seeing all these tulips that I bought like a year and a half ago, and they are blooming this year, and I didn't kill all of them. And we'll see how the alliums do as well in the summertime. So they seem to be growing as well. So maybe I didn't kill them, I just almost killed them. But I'm gonna not water them unless I see the leaves like really drooping and looking bad. The other thing is like these hyacinth, grape hyacinth and stuff, when the leaves start to yellow, I don't mean droop like they need water, but when the leaves start to yellow, it's important with your bulbs that you leave all of the, okay, so you should deadhead, like pinch off the dead flowers once the tulips and daffodils and everything, once they start, the flowers start looking gross and, or, you know, getting wrinkly, then you just break them off and you leave all the leaves in place, and don't take them off until they're yellow and dead, because the leaves are what is getting the energy from the sun and such, and putting the energy back into the bulb so it can make a flower for next year. So leave it naturally, and don't, I know in the olden days they had this thing about like daffodils and stuff, they would take all the leaves and bundle them together and tie them up, but don't do that either, because it's not letting the leaves naturally get as much sunlight and stuff to make photosynthesis to feed the bulb for next year. So don't tie up your leaves either. But okay, the other thing is, Samantha, you said try taking aconite. Aconite, what is... Yeah, no, I'm not thinking of the same thing. Because for a moment there I thought aconite was poisonous, but that is something else I'm thinking of. So I think aconite is like little flowers, and I'm thinking of like the monkshood. What is that? What is the scientific name for monkshood? I can't remember, but monkshood is poisonous. I'm gonna have a drink of my pop. So yeah, no guests this week, and that is partly because I didn't plan or ask anyone, and also because I thought because it was Easter, people would be with their families, and I didn't think anybody would really be available. So I didn't really invite anyone to be my guest this week. So you guys are stuck with just me. Although I like the dynamic when I have a guest, and it gives us different things to talk about. Again, as I say every week, I'm not sure what my purpose is doing these lives and what stepping stone it is for me to go into, or what's happening, what my purpose in life is and where I'm going next with things, but we will see. So I want you guys to tell me how your Easter weekend is going, if you guys had favorite memories so far. And I love seeing people's little kids decorating eggs, or now the pictures are coming up of the Easter egg hunts and finding their baskets. Oh, that's something we would do in Canada when I was little too, is hiding the baskets. So we would get like big chocolate bunnies. Oh, and when I was young, the chocolate was so good, and it was solid chocolate, and it was like a big solid chocolate bunny, and it was so good. And like to the point where we wouldn't even finish them. They were so big because, you know, just a lot of chocolate. So my mom would end up using the remaining chocolate that we didn't use. She would like, what do you call it? Grate it up and use it in baking and stuff. But so we get the basket, and they do that here too. The kids' baskets are over there. I don't have one here, but when we would wake up in the morning, we'd have to find our basket first, and it would be hiding somewhere in the house. And once we found our basket, then we could take our basket and go around and collect the eggs wherever they were hiding around the house. Oh, and Erin was just typing about the Easter basket. So I don't know if I covered everything that she was going to say about the hiding them and then carrying your basket around and finding the eggs. But I know they do the baskets here, but I don't think they hide them. And I have done it for the girls here as well. One year for Easter, to break the tradition, the girls got, and I still have them here actually outside, they got these green plant pots, and they're like the ones that have the reservoir on the bottom to hold water, and each of them had a packet of seeds, and then probably a little stuffy in it, and then some chocolate and Easter and everything. But instead of baskets that year, I used, or the Easter Bunny used green plant pots. So, and like I said, we still have them outside. Erin says, I covered it, and even the use of extra chocolate for baking. Yes. And, something else that I've seen on the internet, no, on the social media, Facebook and such, is another Ukrainian tradition, again, because there's lots of Ukrainians on the prairies where I grew up, is the the Easter bread. So they make a braided Easter bread and stuff, and so that's another Ukrainian Easter tradition that I've seen lots of people doing, because I have lots of friends and family who are Ukrainian or part Ukrainian heritage. And me and Steve talk about this all the time, about how people, when they move to Canada and America, no matter how many generations they've been there, they say, I'm Irish, I'm this, I'm that. Partly because a lot of people just have moved there, like either just them or their parents are immigrants. So, like, literally, if I went to school with someone who was Polish, he might have been born in Poland and just moved there when he was, 8 or whatever. And because somebody, unless you're First Nations, everybody is from somewhere else, then we just, it's just natural to say, oh, what nationality are you? And we don't say, oh, I'm Canadian. We mean, like, what are your heritage, your roots? But also, the thing is, and this is what I was saying, it's like, okay, so you move somewhere else in the world, and say you're, again, Irish, or say you're Indian from India, and you move to a different place in the world, you're going to raise your kids the way that you were taught to raise them, and your traditions and everything else. And even if they're in this new country and you want them to appreciate what this new country has to offer, so me being a Canadian moving to England, I am going to raise my kids the way that I was raised, because I like the way I was raised, and it's not illegal or immoral or anything else. But it's not that I would go against the traditions and stuff of England, but there's what I have to contribute is my heritage. So they're going to get the best of both worlds, right? But so now when my kids have kids, if they have their kids here and they have them with an English partner, are those kids Canadian or English? Are they of English heritage, probably on their, dad's side with the girls, and then they're Canadian, but it's also the way you look. So if your parents or your grandparents are like Jamaican and you look Jamaican, and then it's like, oh, what nationality are you? And you're like, oh, I'm Canadian. Yeah, okay, but where's your ancestral roots? Like, it's hard. You identify with the way you look and the traditions you have and everything else, and those won't be lost. So yes, you can. So Italian Americans won't just say they might say they're Italian, but they're Italian Americans, which also has a different culture to Italy. But a lot of Italians, as I know from the ones that I grew up with, try to get back to the home country as much as they can if they can afford it. So they still have those links with Italy and their roots and everything else. And it's not important to date in your culture. For my opinion, I have no problem with interracial dating, intercultural dating, any of that stuff. But more often than not, a lot of people will end up dating or marrying somebody, usually with because you kind of are drawn to people who have the same traditions as you and everything else. Or one thing that I see with a lot of immigrants, and it's not a bad thing, but it's like when you move anywhere, so if I meet a Canadian here, they might be a horrible person, but because they're Canadian, I identify with that, and I'm like, hey, oh my God, another one of us, you know what I mean? So when people move from another country into somewhere like Canada or America, they tend to find these groups of like nationalities where they'll go to parties together and get-togethers because it's something that feels familiar. And so then you tend to, if you meet somebody who's the same nationality as you and your aunt, you know, so again, it's not that you have to date someone of your nationality or anything, but I see it a lot where lots of people end up dating somebody, like, okay, so I'm with Steve, and he's English and Irish, and I am Canadian, but my ancestors are Irish, French, and Scottish, so European, and so we're both white, and we're together, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we're both white, because I don't know who he's all dated in his life, but I've dated people of lots of different cultures, but that's because I dated a lot. But yeah, so it was the fact that I've married, I mean, even Michael, my ex-husband, I didn't even realize he was part Indian until, this is so crazy, until I had Allison, literally when I had Allison. And again, I'm not racist in any way. And when she was born, I didn't know how to say it because I was drugged up as well, and I didn't want to sound racist. But as a woman, you know where you've been, so you kind of know what your kids are going to look like when they come out. So when I saw her and she had ethnic eyes. That's why I said she was so pretty when she was born. Lots of babies are cute, and lots of babies are ugly. But she was so pretty. That's all I thought was she's so pretty, and she has ethnic eyes. And I was like, she's not fully Caucasian. And I don't know why I said that to the doctors and nurses, because there's nothing they could say or do. But I didn't realize that Michael was Indian until then, and that's not a big deal. But now when I look at the three girls, you can really see that in them, even though it's like Michael's mom's dad. That, you know, it's just like how some of the Irish looks like my dad. When I went to Ireland, I was like, dad, 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 dad. Like, so many of them look like he does, even though we've been in Canada for so many generations, and you're not just what your dad's dad is, right? Like, so if you're partly what your mom is and your dad, and then their parents and their parents and then their parents and their, like, you're a bit of so much. So unless you get your DNA tested, you don't know what you are necessarily, or it's just the way that you look. But I'm going off on a tangent. Anyways, this is sometimes me and Steve talk about that, how in Canada and America, people say, oh, what nationality are you? Whereas if you live somewhere like here, you wouldn't need to ask that because you would just assume people were English. Yes, so, but also, until I moved here, I didn't realize how much I identified as a Canadian. I didn't realize how much I am a Canadian. I am not just Irish, French, and Scottish, because there's so much about me that is Canadian in the way they do things in Canada, not how they do it in Ireland, France, and Scotland, which is European. So yes, that is my heritage, and those things have been brought over to Canada and certain areas of Canada. But again, where I grew up, it's more Eastern European traditions and stuff. So I have my ancestral roots are a lot of Irish, French, and Scottish, but my traditions are, I would say that in our family we have a lot more Ukrainian traditions, traditional Ukrainian traditions, than we do with Irish, French, and Scottish, which again makes me Canadian, but not the same as Canadian from the Maritimes or Canadian from Ontario. Ontario is a lot of British influence. The Maritimes is a lot of Irish and Scottish influence. And like I said, the prairies is a lot of Eastern European influence. But there's lots of things that make us Canadian as well. And I didn't realize that as much until I moved away from Canada, where I look back and think, it's like this thing about people getting back to nature and respecting nature and having a connection with, and gardening is good for the soul and all this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, so in civilized cultures where they've been civilized for so long, and they've had these cities and all this, you know, supposed civilized living, they have pulled away from nature and pulled away from those things. But growing up in Canada, we were influenced by First Nations, which is a great culture and a great thing that we should embrace way more than we do. I've always had a connection to nature. I've always known to respect animals and nature. I've always known that, you know, being connected to nature is good for your mental health. Those are things we grew up with. We never had to learn to, and I'm not saying everybody in Canada and America knows this or follows this, because it is that I was raised old-fashioned and in a good way. But we knew, because my mom's brothers were farmers and stuff, we knew where the animals that we ate came from. We knew to be grateful for that meat and to, you know, say thank you for the body that this animal is giving us to sustain us. We knew to appreciate the flowers when you pick them, and to have that, you know, to respect nature and not to kill insects and all that stuff. So it just is weird to me when I hear these things now about the climate and the nature and like all these things, respecting it. And I think, how did you not know that? How did you not know how to do that? Or, I mean, it just seems like it would be common sense to me, but I guess it is something that some cultures have got away from, and now they have to come back to it. I spend so much time outside, and that is thanks to my parents. For one, when we were kids, kicking us out all the time, that we had to spend time outside every day. So I had to, you know, get friendly with nature, because that's where I was. And two, because we went camping and, like I said, the farms and everything else, and growing up with the First Nations influence and everything else, with the respect for nature. And I wasn't always a gardener. My parents gardened. They had a vegetable garden, and my mom had her flowers and everything else, but I helped with the garden in some ways, like not very often. I'm not trying to give myself like a bunch of credit, but I knew how to snap beans and like how to pick vegetables and how to, you know, shuck peas, like, what's the other word for, like depotting peas? I can't remember what they call it here, just taking the peas out of the pods, and picking berries and everything. I knew how to do those things. I probably should have done them more to help out my parents, but I didn't. But it wasn't until after I had kids even that I started really getting into gardening. So, but I've always had that connection with nature, definitely, from camping and everything else, and being out in nature and having my feet. I miss walking around bare feet. I did that a lot more in Canada. Here, obviously, unless I make sure that my environment in the garden is clean, so I know that there's no broken glass on our lawn and everything else, so if we run, except there's dog poo, but, you know, like I know where I can walk bare feet, but I don't do it like I did in Canada. But I definitely need to have that balance of being out in nature, so even if I didn't have a garden that I grew plants and stuff in, I would still need to go and walk out in nature and just have walks and hug trees and do all that stuff. And it absolutely is vital for mental health, I believe. So even if you don't want to have house plants and you know, flower beds and stuff like that, just go for walks. Just sit, and if there's a stream or a river or something that's safe, then take off your shoes and socks and just put your feet in the water, or put your feet in the sand, or put your feet in the dirt or in the grass, and just feel connected to nature. So, oh, I can't do that. I gotta remember not to do that. I have 15 minutes left. What do you guys want to talk about? Again, I don't expect too many viewers today because it is Easter Sunday, so some people are spending the time with their family, even if it's only their kids or whoever they live with. But I'm even surprised how many people did have tuned in, which I appreciate. What else should we talk about? Did I say that I wore this shirt because... Did I tell you guys a couple of weeks ago? I'm pretty sure I told you that Owen... You know, because Steve has a business that recycles textiles, clothing, and stuff. And so Owen saw some shirts that he thought that I might like, some of which are really modern and cool, which I do like, and some of them are a little bit more womanly or grandma-like, which, again, I could like. And you never know what something's going to be like until you put it on. This is one of the ones that is a bit more grandma-ish, so it's not one that I necessarily care to keep, but it's cute enough, and... It's like, it reminds me of like Easter eggs, Ukrainian Easter eggs. So And this is why I wore it. And then I wore a cute little necklace. It's hard, it might be hard to tell, but it's purple as well. So, but the shirt, yes, reminds me of the patterns on Ukrainian Easter eggs. So that's my Easter look. So I'm a big Easter egg. And Samantha says it's Oliver's due date tomorrow. So I'm glad you came on your live tonight, as it made me smile. Samantha, if not for anything else, if me coming on just for you to watch me, for you to smile, then the whole hour was worth it. And that makes me smile. So I am really happy that you told me that and that I can make you smile today. And for those of you who don't know, Samantha was pregnant and Oliver is her son, and she said the due date was supposed to be tomorrow. So that is when she should have been full term and had Oliver. Unfortunately, he was born early and he was born sleeping. So now she has an angel watching over her and us. And so tomorrow's going to be a tough day for Samantha, as if every day since losing Oliver hasn't been tough. So anything I can do to help you smile. And Samantha, I'm home tomorrow if you need to call or talk, or if you don't want to talk and you just want to be alone, that's fine too. If you want me to video chat with Danielle just to keep her occupied for a few minutes so you can just have some time to yourself, I can do that too. Anything you need, I'll be here for you tomorrow. And every day, you know, I'm here for you every day. So I don't know what else to talk about, but we do have still a bit of time. I don't know about, like, now that Easter's going to be over, if I just leave the Easter decorations, because it's spring and Easter. Sometimes I do them separate. Like, I might decorate the living room and dining room as spring and then put all the Easter stuff in the entranceway, or vice versa. So then I can put all the Easter stuff away, but the spring stuff is still out. But then it's hard. Like, okay, so a chick in an egg, is this Easter or is this spring? Because the how do you say, birdies have not, they're just doing their nests and stuff now, so you know they haven't necessarily had their eggs yet and everything else. So I might just leave it all out, because it's a hassle to have to go between it and put the Easter stuff away and then the spring stuff away in well, it's April now, so like at the end of May, right? Because that's then I would put out the summer stuff. But it's not summer yet, so I don't want to put out the summer stuff, but I don't want to put the spring stuff away, so I might just leave the Easter stuff out. This is just me thinking out loud in my head. I guess it's almost 9 o'clock because I was a few minutes late, only like 3 minutes late, I think, and I'm almost at my time for an hour. And the other thing that tells me what time it is that there's a little antsy child doing a little dance beside me, like, hello, Mom, I need to give you a hug because it's my bedtime, because it's holidays, so she gets to stay up till 9. Either that or she has ants in her pants or she needs to pee. I did have a guest. Look at this hair. So she wants to grow it out. She doesn't want me to dye it, but I think I'm going to do streaks in her hair at least to just match the roots. But at least it doesn't look as wild and crazy as it usually does. All right. I love you. Sleep well. Okay. Bye. Bye. I pinched her bum. Grandma said hi. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Grandma. She said hi and bye. All right, so you're welcome, Samantha, and I love all of you guys, and thank you for tuning in. I'm just checking my time because it's supposed to be the rambling hour. Okay, I have 7 minutes, so I'll just sit back and stop trying to get rid of you guys too soon. Easter, what comes next? Okay, so in Canada, May is Mother's Day, but we had Mother's Day here in March, so we won't be doing the May Mother's Day. I might still do a Mother's Day thing, or set up at least for it for May, but and then June is Father's Day, and Father's Day is the same in Canada and in America and here. So sorry, it's just bothering me that my hair is like uneven, and this is kind of flat and this is kind of sticky outy, and it's not the same, so that's why I keep playing with it. But yeah, so Father's Day, and I have thought about doing that. I did that one year where I did the display here with like pictures of Steve and all some of his things, like his ornaments and things that are more Steve-like. And so maybe I'll do that for, I mean, because I have a lot of stuff, so as much as, you know, there's Mother's Day, most of the house, we do it the way that we both like it, but I mean, if we're honest, most of the stuff is mine, and so every day is Mother's Day. So, yes, I might do that for June, and then there's summer, and I know July 1st is Canada Day, and Samantha, what day is, I know it was a billion years ago when Britain became a country or whatever, but when is a day? Oh, hang on. So I remember Steve saying St. Patrick's Day is an Irish thing and people celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and yet they don't celebrate Saint something Day, that's the English one, but I don't remember what it was. So all right, so it is a good Sunday, a good day. It is the 4th of April, and yes, the weather's been nice. I look forward to being in the garden, but it is going to get chilly for a few days here, and like I said, -3, which is frustrating when it's been at least above 0 for most nights, and my plants are just starting to wake up and at least not freeze to death. So the sun makes me happy, the freezing weather or my plants dying makes me sad, but I hope to be in the garden more. Oh, and the visa application, as I've mentioned many, many times every week about me having to do the visa application and put it in because our visas expire on April 29th. And so I have the visa application done. I need Steve to review a few things, so I need to make a few changes, and that's why on the picture that I shared of my visa application on Facebook and Instagram, it says incomplete copy or whatever it says. It's only incomplete because I haven't posted it, because also we have to pay for the healthcare and stuff before, so I have to pay for that, and then I get a number from them and I have to put that into the application, and then I submit the application. Well, actually I have to print it off and then submit it by post. My point is that the visa application is completed for the most part, and we will post it on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then it'll take a few weeks to get a response from that. So we're hoping for another 2.5 years, and I will let you guys know, obviously, the outcome of that as I know it as well. And people have said love you and bye, and I love you guys too and bye, but I think I still have a few minutes, but I could still say bye now. It's been rambling almost an hour. So yes, I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you next week. And I might still do a spring background and theme, and I hope to have a guest, because I like to have it both ways. I don't mind rambling on my own, but I do like the guest thing too, so I might do that as well next week. What else? So time has changed, like everybody's changed their clocks now, so it'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 8 p.m. British Standard Time, and I will see you next week. I have enjoyed rambling with you and talking about Easter traditions and stuff like that. So everybody have a good day, have a good week, and we'll see you next Sunday here live on the Rambling Hour with Lisa. Bye guys, love you.